Welcome to the second online Elevate message. We are wrapping up our series, And Jesus Grew In. And if you haven't been following along or you're just joining us now, or whatever the case is, we've been working through a verse, Luke 2:52, which says, And Jesus grew in wisdom, stature, and favor with God and favor with man. And so as we wrap up the series, we're going to be talking about the last one, which is obviously in favor with man. And so we're going to work through what I think is a really important part right now, especially as we're in social distancing and you haven't had social contact for a long time, the importance of connecting to community and to others. And so we're going to hop into that. But I'm going to start off with the idea that the thought of the week, I guess, which is ultimately that it feels impossible to grow towards God and then to also grow towards man. Like the end when Jesus grows in favor of God and in favor of man, it kind of feels like he's doing a really impossible thing in some ways. Like how do you have favor with God and have a relationship with God that's completely devoted, but then also have friends, right? Like how do you still have community, and how do these work out? Because if I go to school, necessarily my friends aren't going to be the same friends I have at church, and those two roles don't really work out together. And so Jesus kind of answers and lays out how he manages to do this in Matthew 22, which will be the verse of this week, which is the same verse that Johnny talked about this morning, which is really awesome because I think this is such a vital, important message that y'all get to hear. And so Matthew 22, 34 through 40 says this, But when Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And he said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depends all the law and the prophets. Context time. So this is Jesus in Jerusalem. He is he's hanging out, doing miracles, all the awesome things of his ministry. And then the Pharisees come up to Jesus thinking they can trick him. So they ask him a question, and he outsmarts them and he answers them. And so then the Sadducees, they see that the Pharisees are beaten, and so they're like, all right, we got a question on resurrection though. And so they ask Jesus a question themselves, and then Jesus outsmarts them and answers them in a perfect way. And so then the Pharisees see that the Sadducees got beat, and they got somehow more encouragement, seeing that they already lost and then the Sadducees have lost. They thought, hey, round two, we're going to definitely get in with this question. Which law is the greatest? Thinking, there's 144 million laws, right? Like we have books of laws, beyond the 10 Commandments. We're going to trap him here. He's going to pick one that's not going to lean in on a characteristic of God. Then so Jesus answers this question, and I think it outlays his relationship, how Jesus lived and conducted ministry, which is he loved God first, and then he loved people because of it. He gives the priority to God, but then he also says, but you cannot forget that because you love God, you have to love people. Like these are not separate poles. This is not, I need to have God love me so I go to heaven, and then I need to have friends so I can have fun on earth. It is, listen, I love God, and therefore I'm going to love his creation and love the people that he's made. And so I love this series because I feel like it's kind of been a straightforward series. Our first week, which was grow in wisdom, godly discernment, be smart. That's kind of the message, right? And then grow in stature, grow up in maturity, right? Grow up. And then we had grow in favor with God, which is steadfast love and faith. And then finally here with favor with man, and the answer is simple. It's love God so you can love people. And so the important part here, I think, is that Jesus understood the priority, but they also went together. That this wasn't you have to love God and then also love people. It's you love God and then because of that you love people. And I think it's really important that Jesus had this figured out, right? If we're here to follow Jesus' example, I think it's important to know that Jesus had figured out how to manage life and to have, not have to feel a pull for one or the other, but to completely walk side by side alongside the earth in a relationship with God. And so the answer is love people. And you're probably wondering, how do I love people, right? Because this is, again, this is always a vague concept of like, hey, you need to go love people. You need to go be the church to people. You need to go, be Jesus to someone. And it's like, awesome. I don't know how to do that because I can't really, do all the same cool miracles that Jesus did. I don't understand, right? And so this is not a be nice to people lesson either. This is not Jesus was nice to people, so I just need to go be nice. I need to not bully this one kid I used to bully, which you shouldn't be doing that. But this is not that message. This is hey, you need to love people kind of message. And so it's a bit harder, right? Because it's not necessarily like liking people and tolerating people is a lot easier than loving them. Because Jesus was the king of it, so he could just step into someone's life, and it could be a mess, and it could be, miserable, and their life could be crumbling around them, right? And he's just like, hey, that's cool, I'm going to love you anyway. Let's talk about this. And it's just incredible. And for some of us, that's really hard. And so Jesus, kind of, when he says this, is saying, you need to learn that God can step into any mess. Nothing's big enough for, too big for God. And as long as you have, you're loving God and you're working through your relationship with God, then nothing's going to overtake you on this side of the world. As long as this side's solid, then nothing's going to happen on this side. And so, not that you're going to be perfect, but there's nothing that's going to be too big for God to help you overcome on this side, right? And so, because of our time, though, right, we're in social distancing, and it feels kind of hard to go, oh, I don't know how to love someone, I don't know how to step in someone's life when I'm not allowed to step outside my house. And so, we need to be the proactive party in this. We need to be the people that are going out and reaching towards people in a way that they're probably not experiencing in other ways right now from other friends. Because you're not allowed to leave your house. Listen to me. Do not go and visit someone and shake hands and go to Wendy's. One, they're not going to be open. You have to go through drive-thru. But just don't. I'm not telling you to leave your house and go and do things. But I am telling you that you probably should go and call and talk to your friends. And you probably should be FaceTiming them, actually. You should be doing something that feels a little bit more personal. And so if you're a little uncomfortable with this, Johnny talked about this morning. You can text people. I'm not giving you an out. You need to call people. My biggest fear is calling people. Listen, my phone rings in my office and I literally get anxiety. It's a thing, it'll never go away. Phone calls scare me. But it's still an important part, right? We still need to reach out. I'm a talker, I love face-to-face interaction, and so for me, FaceTime or Skyping or whatever has been like the answer. But we need to do this, right? Because it's so easy for people right now in this kind of time to kind of hermit up, right? Like they're not only social distancing, but they're kind of socially isolating themselves. They're saying like, I'm gonna check out, I'm gonna play video games, I'm gonna go on Instagram, I'm gonna do me, and I'm not gonna do any other interaction. I'm gonna put, if you send me a text, I'm marking it as read and moving on. I'm not gonna answer you. Like that's some people's disposition when they have this time for themselves. But my hope is that we're reaching out to people and saying, hey, I care about you. How are you doing? And so my challenge for you for this week is that you go one step further and you go through your contacts. Because you're already going to be talking to your best friend forever, right? Like your BFF and you are already texting and FaceTiming and doing those things every single day. But my challenge for you is to go down your contacts and grab 5 friends off your list that you have not talked to since the shutdown. And I want you to call them or FaceTime them, get some kind of interaction with them, and ask them how they're doing. Talk to them, check in on them, see if they need anything that you can offer. I want you to reach out to them and go beyond what they're probably expecting. Because again, this is a time where it kind of feels like you can be on your own, and that's okay. Introverts are like excited. This is listen, I can step back and there's no responsibility to go be outside and interact with people. Food lines halfway empty. It's like my dream. But my hope is that in this time that we reach out to people, that we are reaching out, that we are understanding that having a relationship with God and loving God, pushes us to go and love others. I heard a great message back in the day that was, what breaks your heart moves your feet. And so in this case, I want it for what breaks your heart moves your fingers to call somebody. That's my hope, right? And so that you are reaching out towards the people who are not feeling connection right now in a time where connection is borderline impossible. And so I'm about to wrap it up right here, and Emily's about to come on and give you a thought for you to work through this week. And so I'm really appreciative of you watching, and I hope that you come back for us next week.
Hey guys, so tonight Eli talks about the importance of being the hands and feet of Jesus. And this message is especially important right now at a time where there's a lot of fear and uncertainty going on. But the other side of this message is your own personal time with God. And right now, at a time where routines and schedules are just all over the place, it can be really hard to implement this. But we want to encourage you guys to get back into it. Whether it's reading your Bible, praying, listening to worship music, journaling, whatever it is that makes you feel connected to God, do it. And if you're having a hard time keeping yourself accountable, reach out to Eli or myself, or you can talk to your parents. You can even create a group chat with your friends who you know are walking the same walk, and you guys can encourage each other in this. Whatever it is that you need to do in order to spend time with God, do it. Because you can't love people well if you aren't filling yourself first. The other side of that is we want y'all to join us on Wednesday. We're going to be starting this new thing until we're able to join back together physically. We're going to meet virtually every Wednesday at 6 p.m. through Zoom. which is basically like Skype. It's a super easy video chat thing that we'll be able to do. If you have any questions, there was an email sent out to your parents about it. But if you're still confused, text us. Let us know. We want to see you. We want to get to connect with you again because we miss you guys. But no, most importantly, you are being prayed for, you're cared about, and you're loved even at a time where it may seem like you're not. You guys got this, and we love you.